Calder once again here with Singing Matters, and I wanted to talk to you today about stop trying to sing too loud. You're singing too fucking powerful. You're singing too strong, and I can't tell you how often I have to sort of say this to students, but more to the point, my experience of this is on the extreme. I mean, I sang with so much tension, so much pressure, so much volume and power, like in all the wrong ways, that I ended up with an operation on my voice. I sang for years, way too strong. And it's one of the hardest things to convince singers of, that you don't need to try to be so loud. When you're singing loud and powerful and big, you know, when you hear things on record, it's not what you think often. And those big sounding notes are impressive, powerful, but actually they're small. And I know I've touched on this in other videos, but I just wanted to quickly discuss this today as a way to try and plead with you as singers to understand that you're going in too strong. And it's so common, and I get comments. Some of you have made comments on my videos here and said, you know, maybe I'm going too powerful, maybe I'm trying to go too strong. And other people have said, oh, I think, you know, that's really helped. Try not to do that. I can't tell you how true it is. You really will be amazed how little you can do. You know, how little effort is involved once you get your voice set up right. Once you've got your breathing in place, you're closed, the chords are nice and closed, you've got the body involved and engaged in the process. You don't need to do hardly anything to get the voice to come out. See how easy that is? Yay! If you go into your big notes with this bracing yourself for it feeling, like you probably don't know how bad it is. And take it from me, you can do some damage to your voice if you keep doing it. Now, some of what I sang like for years was really passionate. I think I had a lot of anger. I definitely had a lot of anger in me. And part of what was good about my performances was that passion that other people just wouldn't dream of getting out of themselves in front of anyone. And I found that easy to do, to pour my heart out and scream and cry at people on stage, through songs, through music, through the voice. But what I was loading onto that voice, the amount of tension, the amount of like force I was putting into my voice, it's just, I look at it now and I think, God, it's unbelievable. And I see singers who are nowhere near as bad as I was often, and they're still going in too strong. And it really takes some work to try and understand that less is more. And I frequently say to students, 50% less, 80% less volume. Like, they might not know how to do that, but just try the same thing, but take 50% of that away. Just take 80% of it away. Take 20% of it away. Just try and do it a little bit less. Try and put less force, less power. It's incredible how little is required to get those notes to sound powerful. You listen to someone like Chris Cornell, you know, he's actually doing his voice is incredible, but he's not doing anything as big and powerfully as you think. His support is there. He's putting distortion into it. I mean, there's so many singers you could reference. I just happened to pick him out, but I'm just going to start belting notes out at you, but it's not, I'm not kind of having to brace myself because I'm putting so much force into my voice that I have to use all kinds of musculature outside of the larynx to control it and to try and keep those chords together and to sort of contain this amazing intensity that you're putting through your body. You don't have to do that because it's way easier than that. Yeah, there's support and that's in place, but yeah, Yay! Yay! I mean, I could go less than that even, probably. It is something that I probably still have to remind myself from time to time. And I'm always going to be honest as a coach about my actual voice and the journey I've been on. But my God, I've learned a lot. Let me tell you, I've learned a lot. And I've learned the hard way. Finding yourself getting general anesthetic and waking up the other side of an operation when someone has taken a scalpel to your vocal cord, down your throat. You have a camera down the back of your nose. Some people may have experienced this and had a check or had it looked at. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I live off this thing, and it's everything. If I couldn't use it, God, I don't know what I'd do. I've gone through some experiences since then where I've almost sort of given up a little bit and not given it as much attention as I could have done, or not worked on my voice as much, and not solidified certain parts of my technique, because I'd almost like resign myself to the idea that it was never going to be great, or I'd already ruined it, or something like that, I guess. And I went back to gigging immediately after the rehabilitation period. I didn't give it long enough. I should have at least given it another week or two to start singing. And what I did is I went back and did a 4-hour gig in the first day back. That was my first booking. It was an all-day gig, 2 hours in the day and 2 hours with the band later on. That was my first gig back, and it was not enough time to rehabilitate. And I don't, that's a story for another video. But I come from a place of experience trying to say to you that it will amaze you how little you can put into it, especially if you're someone who really, really overdoes it. And again, I know I've touched on this sort of thing before, but I haven't done a video. I'm trying to keep up with these videos. I'm a very busy person, and I really, really appreciate everyone, all your comments and everyone watching this stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. And I've got loads of new students, and some of them have really realized what I'm getting at here when I say that, and they've just tried to give less, they've tried to put less into it, and suddenly this freedom comes out. They might be able to sort of then reach up to a higher note. They might have the freedom to kind of ad lib a little bit. They might just feel like they've got this headroom above the note that they're trying to hit, because they're lighter, they're freer, everything's balanced better. They're enabling the head voice musculature to start to work. They're not fighting against the voice. They're getting out of the way of the voice, of the mechanics of your actual voice and how it wants to work. But it's really hard to convince people in their head that those big sounds that we hear on record are actually way less intense than you think. And it's just an incredibly important lesson, especially singers who are like me. And I tend to feel like I appeal to those kinds of issues, perhaps more than other things so far on the channel. But I've got singers. I had one yesterday who is always too soft. He's always too breathy. He always flips into a falsetto. People go one way or the other in this. They either back off because they feel that tension, or they don't seem to care or notice that that's a problem. They go plowing through it and cause themselves problems. But I just wanted to come on and plead with all of you who are struggling with anything in that mixed part of your range or anything in that top part of your range, that try not to be too powerful, try not to go too strong, and really, really take that on. Have a look online and see if other singers are talking about it. Have a look online and see if other coaches are talking about it. Have a look online, read something, look stuff up, and try and understand where vocal power comes from. It comes from getting the resonance right. It comes from getting the breath control right, so that everything's just going, "Way, yeah." And it's like I can go straight back into talking after that. There's not this big like, Jesus, like I can see what people are doing when there's this, they go for it, and you're like, whoa, before you even sing, I'm like, stop. You're going to go too strong. You can see it in your body language. Again, I know this from experience, and I just want to encourage people to try giving less and trusting that that's going to sound powerful and it's going to sound amazing. Those big notes that we think of as big are thin and small. The chords are stretched. I repeat myself a lot, but that's what this is all about. It does take a long time for these things to go in. A lot of singing teaching is like this woo-woo stuff that you feel like you're almost selling people some nonsense spiritual thing that is completely impossible, or I don't know. I could think of a better analogy if I'd thought about what I was going to say in this video before I came on. But it's like you're trying to do something, you're trying to convince people of something that is just bonkers. You know, it's really hard. You feel like you're selling someone a load of nonsense, but you're not. It just takes time for it to get through to people and work out how to do that. And again, it comes from knowing when the blend starts happening, knowing when the bridge starts happening. You know, if you feel like you're getting louder as you go up there towards your bridge, something's wrong. Okay, back off. Back the hell off. Hey! Yep! So that's easy. But if you're going more and more strong, yeah, you're going to start to come across problems. I don't want to demonstrate that sort of thing too much these days. Having had an operation on my voice, I need to look after it. That's all I'm going to say today. This is a quick video. Stop trying to sing too powerfully. Really, really trust someone who's been through it. And I suppose that's my biggest way of trying to sell this idea to you is I had to have a knife to the vocal cords. You know, it's not quite been the same since. Trust me. Please trust me. I was someone who sang with so much power. It was like, you're too loud. And I remember someone saying to me, and this is what was in my head earlier before I did this video, in a studio recording my songs with an old band lineup, and they went, you sing hard, man, you sing really hard. Like, he was talking about the mic setup or something. He was talking about something to do with the recording process. I can't remember. But he was like, and you're a singer who sings really hard, you know, and I wanted to take it as a compliment. I wanted to take it as a fucking compliment. Who the fuck do I think I am? Yeah, I'm fucking singing really hard. Ugh. No. It's not a badge of honor. It is not a badge of honor to do that to your voice. Try and learn that. Try and see how passionate I am about this, and take it on and see if you can back off and go easier and let that blend start to happen and see what magic starts to occur. See how free your voice can start to feel without even anything else. Forget everything else or put it to one side and just think about trying not to go too hard, too loud, too powerful, too strong. Try and back off. As soon as you get to that kind of... go really soft just to see what you can do. See how light you can go. Okay, that's not the desired outcome, but you've got to take away this and stop thinking that singing like that is something to be proud of or something that is like an asset. It's not, and it won't be if you do 2-hour shows week in, week out. You're going to hit a wall. It's going to struggle. If you ever wake up after a gig, after rehearsal, and your voice is in some kind of state, ask yourself a question. Ask yourself, right, should it be like that? How do people go on tour constantly without having that problem? Ask yourself, think about it, really try and believe that there must be a way. It's not their voice. It's not them having a voice that's, my voice is just like this. People are so convinced that their voice is different. Stop individualizing it. Everyone's voice essentially has the same mechanics. If it feels like that, it's not that your voice just can't take it, it's that you're doing something wrong, okay? And I'm really like bullish here, and I'm like almost telling people off. But I've come from a place of passion, and I come from a place of caring about my students, and I just passionately want people to learn from my mistakes. Can't help it. That's all I'm going to say today. I may be late for my next student. I'm going to quickly switch around and get online from one of my students over in Canada. I can't wait. Always a pleasure working with him. He has improved his voice a load in the first 4 lessons. Straight away, he's learning some of these sorts of things. And there are moments where he's gone, oh yeah, you know, and you can see it in his eyes. He's suddenly realizing this is taking me somewhere, that I'm getting something out of my voice that I wasn't getting before. So I'll leave you with that thought. I'm going to try and do another video this week as well and just speed this process up a little bit and get ahead a little bit because I'm slightly behind. I hope my lecture, passionately imploring you to go lighter, stop trying to sing too loud. I hope it sinks in. Good luck with your singing. See you next time.